the game, cause see the boxing voice.
Welcome back, gang, for the first time and hopefully many more to come. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and click on the notifications right here, this little bell, so you can get those emails every time we go live.
The fourth man, glad to have you on the show. How's it going this morning?
Good morning. I'm glad to be on. I hope all you guys are doing well, having a wonderful morning.
Doing great. Now let's let me backtrack a little bit. Let the people know and my panel know, how did the name Money Powell IV come about?
Well, the name Money actually originated back in Mississippi. My great grandfather was a farmer, and he named his children after how much money he made that year from farming. And he had a lot of kids, and Money was one of the children because he made a lot of money that year from selling crops. So he named one of the children Money, and they all worked on a farm, but Money was the only one who was like really against hard work. He did not like it at all. So his dad said, hey, either you're going to work or you're going to have to leave. So Money said, you know what, I'm just going to get it on my own. He decided to move out, and he became a real big Showtime gambler. And from what I was told from my dad and my grandfather is that he was bringing in so much money. I mean, it was ridiculous how much money he was bringing in from gambling. So he had my granddad, and he passed the name on to him because he was making a crazy amount of money. And my granddad had my dad, and then passed the name on to me. My dad was actually going to be named Silver. The name was actually going to end because, unfortunately, my granddad's brother passed away when they were children in a tornado. So he was going to pay homage to his brother and name my dad Silver, but he decided to keep the legacy going and just name him Money. And my dad passed it on to me.
Wow, that's a very, very intriguing story. So now people know how the main name of Money Powell IV came about. Now I want to get to the fight over this weekend, man. You had a very, very impressive performance on PBC on FS1. The body punches was beautiful, man. The punch selection was awesome, and you really set up that right hand. What was your game plan going into that fight, and were you looking to accomplish something in that fight, or were you trying to get that guy out of there?
Well, we really worked hard this camp on body shots, because like I said, I feel like body shots are kind of neglected in a way because a lot of guys really want the pretty knockouts from the head shots, but I feel like body shots, they're different than head shots because if you're a fighter and you've been in the game, we all know when you get hit with a really good body shot, you can't just shake that off. They stay with you for rounds. I mean, it can like just paralyze the bottom part of your body. But we really worked hard on that, me and my coach. And this fight, we knew the guy liked to come forward a lot because we've seen him. I actually knew him when I was a lot younger because while I was still a JO in the amateurs, while I was a junior Olympic, he was already open. So I had watched him some while I was a kid, and he's a come forward fighter. He likes to mix it up. So I could have boxed him from the outside, but my coach always tells me, he said, Money, when you get in there, own your greatness and, work on everything we worked on in the gym. So we got in there. I listened to my coach, followed the game plan. We're going to try to slow him down with body shots. And the right hand really just came off the body shots from the inside. I saw the uppercut coming, I rolled with it, and it came back with a counter right hand. But we worked really, really hard this camp, and luckily it paid off. All glory to God, though, because without him, I wouldn't even been able to get in that ring. So I'm just happy I have a great team behind me, and without them as well, my wonderful team, the things that I do would not come to fruition either.
Hey, Money, how you doing? It's Martin McGee here. Now, I wanted to talk to you real quick about the card, about your team. In fact, let's get into your team a little bit. Now, you were originally signed to Ringstar Promotions. You were, I think, their fifth fighter signed by Richard Schaffer. But the Leon Margolis card you fought on this weekend, I believe that was what it was. It was a Warriors boxing card. Talk to us a little bit about how your fights come together. Who's making the moves for you? Who's making the decisions? Who's presenting you with these fights? What I'm not gonna say who's pulling the strings, not like that. But basically, who's presenting you with these things? Who is talking to you about your future, and what are they saying?
Mhm. Well, Ringstar, I'm still signed to them, and luckily Richard Schaffer, he pushes to have me on different platforms that could get me out there more. To be completely honest with you, I'm not 100% sure what goes on behind the scenes. When I get the call, they tell me what's going on. I let my team know and stuff like that. And really just wherever they tell us I'm supposed to be fighting at, I just make sure that I'm training hard. So whenever I get that call, I'm ready. I wish I had the answers for you. I'm sorry, but that's just a little bit over my head. I wish I knew, but it's just whenever they tell us, hey, man, you have a fight here, then I'm like, okay, this is what I'm fighting in. Like when they told me I was fighting in Paris, when I originally signed the Ringstar, Richard told me we're going to try to get you on as many different platforms, including other countries as possible. And luckily, I was able to fight in Paris twice and fight in London in the O2 Arena last year. That was an amazing experience. But I'm not 100% for sure what goes on behind the scenes in terms of the business aspect of it. But
well, let's talk about it like this then, Money.
I'm happy with it.
Well, let's talk. Oh, go ahead, Ness.
I was just gonna say, hey, Money, it seems like you're taking the changes in fighting, or the locations in fighting, fairly well. But does that make it hard to stay prepared, or do you really have to live that kind of cliche, stay ready so you don't have to get ready?
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. When you're pretty young in your career still, it's kind of hard when it comes to boxing, because unlike football, basketball, and baseball, you have a schedule already planned out throughout the year. And it gets difficult because I could have a fight lined up and it'll fall straight through. And it's been plenty of times where I've literally missed family events that I had like a once in a lifetime to go to. And it hurts when a fight falls through, because I'm like, man, I just missed out on this for training, but I just keep telling myself, it's going to pay off. But honestly, you really just have to be constantly ready, because you have to be willing to sacrifice that luxury of always knowing when you're going to fight for sure early on in your career, so you can get to the higher level, to where like Errol Spence, Canelo, Danny Jacobs, the big names like that, where they have 4, 5, 6 months sometimes in advance knowing where they're going to fight. So early on in your career, you literally just have to be ready. You really do.
So who's your advisor? Because you said you were Ringstar and Richard Schaffer. Who's your advisor and or manager and trainer? I know you've interviewed with Mike before, but for those listening, just let us know your advisor, if you also have a manager, and who's your trainer.
Well, right now, my trainer, who's been with me from the ground up, my coach, Jason Jones. For the guys that don't really get to see him because he has to sit outside of the ring, my coach is a paraplegic, but everything you see me do in the ring, everything that I've accomplished would not have happened without him. Coach Jay, he's a quiet guy, but when we get in the ring, that's me and him both doing the talking at the same time. We work perfect together, hand in hand. And when it comes to my advisor and manager, that's mainly my dad. And really, with my advisors, my main circle, my dad, my coach, my team here, because I really trust in what they tell me. Because a lot of times when it comes to advisors and managers, I'm not just signing to guys that I feel like are going to give me a big check bonus or something like that. Me personally, I want to be signed with somebody who also cares about me as a human being, because I need somebody who's going to not only look out for my career, but look out for my well-being as well. Because boxing is a hard sport if you don't have the right team behind you. So I need to make sure I have the right people behind me before I sign any contracts with anybody that I don't consider family right off the bat. Everybody has their own opinions, but that's mine. I like to really have 100% trust when I sign a contract with you. But I don't have a legit manager or advisor as of yet. But when I do have one, then he'll be the real deal. He or she, whoever it is.
How's it going, Money? When I first saw you, man, you was fighting at 154, and to my surprise, this past weekend you fighting at 168. what weight class can we see you settle down in? And are you like still growing? Like, are you still filling out your body? Do you feel like you'll be moving up anytime soon, or is 168 where you'll settle down at?
Honestly, this fight was at 164, but technically, I mean, you're right. It's super middleweight because it's above the middleweight weight limit. But as of right now, I still can make 160. And the only reason why I haven't really just legit fought at the championship weight is because I mean, you really don't have to until you're fighting for a belt or starting to get up into that title contention. So as of now, still just trying to see which weight I feel strongest at, and middleweight or super middleweight. But within the next year or two, then I'll definitely have one picked for sure. I feel like I'll be strong at either weight. I spar with light heavyweights, super middleweights, and do just fine. So I feel like my strength and my ring IQ will take me a long way. So whichever one I decide to settle in at, I'll be strong at.
So my co-host here,
Yes.
Mario Munguia, is going to have his first exhibition fight. Is going to be Friday before the Earl Spence and Mikey Garcia. What sort of advice could you give a guy, 30 plus, a father, a novice, a husband? What's the best advice for those guys getting off the couch? They want to do it for exercise. They want to do it to lose weight, but they are going to get in there and take some punches.
Well, to be completely honest with you, if you aren't looking to 100% push yourself in this sport, and you are looking just for more of the fitness kind of aspect of it, and maybe just sparring lightly, not trying to go too hard, then I would say make sure you are obviously prepared for work, because if you want to succeed, period, whether that's just losing weight, you have to be prepared for work. You have to be consistent in what you decide to do. Make sure you're all in it, because if you want to at least get good results, whether that be competing or exercising, make sure that your mind is 100% in it, because if you're not all the way in it, you're not going to give it your all and take it as serious. But I feel like if you give it your all, you'll fall in love with it, and you'll just continue to grow at it, whatever it is, in and out of the ring. If you give it your all and you start seeing the results from your work, then you're just going to continue to get better at it. And only good things are going to keep happening.
My last question before I pass you over to Mario: what can we expect from Money Powell this year? What kind of goals do you have for yourself in the year of 2019?
The goals I have for myself is to continue to get better every single fight. Fight as many times as possible, because like I said, I'm literally always in the gym. I train so much. I mean, my last fight was in September, and I had a 5-month training camp. And just whenever they give me the calls and stuff, I'm gonna make sure I'm 110% ready, and I'm just gonna keep working my way to a world title, and just to keep knocking down all my goals and all my dreams. I'm gonna just keep giving them my all and keep working hard.
Yo, Money, man, I love the answer though that you gave, because I have fell in love with it. So, and absolutely, Mike is absolutely right, man. You continue to grow, both physically and experience wise and technically. I mean, your skills are definitely coming into play, and it's yeah, you're looking great out there. But I wanted to bring you into the conversation real quick, okay? This isn't going to be anything like personal. This is not about your team or nothing, but I'm going to throw you a scenario, and I want to get your response, because we've been talking about this on the show today, and I just want the fighters' idea. Now, I'm not sure if you know. I see you got some Insta game there, man. Your Instagram is solid, great. It looks good. So I'm sure you know that Eddie Hearn and Espinosa, Showtime Sports president, was they got into a Twitter beef yesterday. And we were talking about where that beef stemmed from, right? And the whole point was that Espinosa called Eddie Hearn a liar because he tried to go backtrack. He made a deal with Showtime for AJ, Anthony Joshua. Then he turned around and tried to make a deal with HBO. Now, the point has been that Eddie Hearn is not a man of his word, that he's unethical because he made a deal with somebody, then he turned around and tried to make a deal with somebody. Now, from a fighter's perspective, do you expect your promoter, manager, whoever, to get the best deal, even if they're pulling side tactics like that, even if they're a little bit what some people might consider unethical? Do you think that that's still a way to do business? Would you appreciate somebody going that extra mile for you? And do you believe that a promoter, manager, whoever, only interest should be in getting you the best deal?
I feel like at the end of the day, that really comes down to the individual, because if your end goal is to get the most money out of your career and your promoter or manager is going the route that can get you the most money, then the answer would be yes. But if your answer would be, I want the best fights for me instead of the money, then it would probably be no, because a promoter and their manager's biggest thing is not only to promote you, but is also to make the most money as possible. So a lot of times they're going to go the big money route. And as a fighter, I can understand both sides, because as a boxer, people start calling you old and stuff when you get in your 30s, when, to be honest, I mean, that's when life is really just starting for a lot of people. In their 20s, they're still trying to get everything together. But you can't box forever. So you have to make sure that your family's financially stable, and you are as well, because nobody's going to pay those bills for you once you hang those gloves up and put food in your family's mouth. So I completely understand. And I also understand the aspect of wanting to solidify yourself in the history books as a legend, because if you want to be the best, I feel like you wouldn't have never laced up a pair of gloves and decided to turn professional just to be average in it. I feel like we all want the same goal. So I understand both sides. But me personally, I would actually want both if possible. And if my promoter could do that for me, then I would just hope that my fans and supporters will understand my standpoint of knowing that as long as I continue to win, the big fights that you guys want to see will happen as long as I continue to win no matter what. And when you get to a fighter of that magnitude, I feel like your voice holds a lot of merit. So whatever decision you want or whatever you want, if you're vocal about it, it will happen. Because if you're that big, you have a giant following fan base. So they're going to also push forward. And if the fans are pushing forward, that means the money's pushing forward, and that means it'll happen.
Absolutely.
Great answer, bro. Great answer.
It was a damn good answer. Before we let you go, man, let the people know where they can follow you at, and when Rainstar is expecting to have you back in the ring.
You can follow me on Instagram at Money Powell IV. And on Facebook, my name is Silver Powell, because Facebook won't allow my name to be Money, I think, because it thinks it's a fake name. So I use my granddad's brother's name. And you can add me on Snapchat if you want to, because I don't have Twitter. I think I made Twitter when I was like in the 9th or 10th grade. I don't even remember my information. But you can add me on Snapchat.
Make me feel old, man. You make me feel old.
I'm sorry, man. I don't really use Twitter, man. I see a lot of times out there guys arguing stuff, and I'm not a confrontational type of guy, man. I just keep to myself a lot of times. I don't like beefing on computers or having problems with nobody. But Snapchat is moneyp.4, and hopefully Ringstar, allows me to get back in there soon.
We want to see you on that Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence card.
Yeah, there was talk about me being on that card a little earlier this year. I was really excited because I was like, man, that'd be a great honor. But to be honest with you, I don't think that's gonna happen, because it's right around the corner. I just got done fighting, and if that was gonna happen that fast, they would have gave me a heads up about it. But it's all right. Everything happens for a reason. My mom always tells me that, and I leave it all up into God's hands and my team's hands. I know it's all going to play out. But as long as you keep supporting me, man, I really appreciate you guys. Don't worry. Big things are coming.
Not a
You gonna
problem,
be
man.
in Dallas for that fight though?
Probably not. Like I said, man, I just chill out here at the house and train and stuff. But I just watch the fights on TV. I'm
Hey,
a
man,
real
do you?
guy, man.
Yes, sir. Do you?
Absolutely, Money. Thank you for your time, man. We appreciate you you coming on, and we'll be watching your career closely and supporting you, man. Thank you again.
Thank you, Money.
Hey, I really appreciate you guys. You guys have a blessed day and be safe.
And his name is really Money Powell IV.
Yes.
Yo, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.